Welcome back. On today's Dungeon Design Drive-By, we take a look at Act 2 of a one-shot I like to call Sphinx Gate. I'm Mark William, and you're watching Drive-By D&D. After entering the Sphinx Gate, you are whisked away through a portal only to land in a massive dark forest. It's a strange land, but you can do nothing but press onwards. After making your way through the unfamiliar woods, you see it, a massive wall. It looks dilapidated, but its height and sturdy construction still dominates the landscape, casting its long dark shadow. It appears to be the only way forward. A moment later, however, you see them. Predatory beasts silently stalking towards a giant nest filled with large white speckled eggs. From your position amongst the trees, the beasts don't notice you. They are carefully moving towards their prey. Suddenly, one of the eggs begins to crack, and a small bird-like creature begins chirping in distress. The mangy beasts are drooling with hunger and attack. Okay, that was the setup for Scene 1, Death from Above. So remember, the players have just dealt with the statue in Gate Town, they've gone through the Sphinx Gate, hopefully gained some power-ups from some of the shops, and are now basically being thrown into this random wilderness, this mysterious forest in a strange land, and basically with little direction. So it's important in the setup that we really identify this wall, this massive wall on the horizon that they're gonna have to, there's no real way except forwards. So because they're kind of directionless with that, you want to spring in the wolves attacking the bird nests. The nests are gonna play a bigger role in this whole thing, so we want the players to kind of be attracted to the nests and the eggs, which we'll see later. So they're going to engage the wolves, maybe in a fight, maybe scare them off. Again, I tried to put that little chirping baby bird in there so that maybe the players are like, oh no, stop the wolves so they don't kill the baby bird. But however they choose to deal with it, maybe they let the wolves just eat the bird or whatnot, you're going to then spring the twist on them here. So we'll talk about that next, and we'll go from there. Suddenly, out of the skies, you see it, a massive bird of prey. Its sharp beak opens and shrieks in anger. Its sharp claws dig into the earth as it lands defiantly, sheltering the nest with its mighty wings outstretched. Its eyes begin to glow red like fire. It's preparing some sort of attack, and it's targeting anyone or anything in sight. Okay, so that's the twist. So remember that the twist is used to sort of pivot the character's attention towards a certain objective or a certain key thing, which will ultimately lead to the lead. So again, when they landed in this forest, they had no real objective other than to kind of keep going forward. So that's why it's very important that you use the wolves to really attract them to the nest and the eggs, because that's going to be the major plot point as this giant bird does swoop in to defend its nest. So what I liked about this was that the bird is just like a natural, crazy, giant beast. So, he's a non-sentient creature, basically, who's made his home in this forward forest and has set up all its nests with all its young. So the minute it lands, you want to give your players, before this happens, maybe you are going to give them some perception checks, some survival checks, dexterity, or stealth checks to maybe they get a warning that the bird's coming and can kind of hide or run away, because the idea is that this bird is basically going to defend its nest to the death. And either shooting it, I gave it cool laser eyes because I just like how, again, this was supposed to be high fantasy. It's a bird that is just kind of out of this world. And you can kind of choose the stats you want to give the bird. Maybe you do give it dragon stats, but I had this cool bird model, so I wanted it to be a bird. And the player should feel like they can't really win this. And hopefully through this encounter, so maybe after 1 or 2 rounds, the players withdraw. So that's sort of the intention. So that the minute the players perhaps withdraw, maybe they run, realizing that they can't fight off the bird will eventually, once it detects, so again, use your DM discretion, once the bird detects that maybe there's no danger, it is then going to fly back to its nest, which is right on the wall. And this is when we're going to hit them with the lead, basically the way out for the players. But now they're going to be stuck in this predicament. And hopefully they'll learn that, contact with the eggs will agitate the bird and possibly distract it in some way. So we'll talk more about that once we get to the lead, which is next. After narrowly escaping the bird's giant clutches, you see the beast becomes less agitated with time. Soon, its mighty wings begin flapping, sending massive gusts of wind in every direction. The giant bird soars through the air, leaving its nest far below, until finally it lands on a massive tower atop the wall of unforgiving height. It's then you notice what looks to be a pathway up and through the crumbling wall, but crossing beneath the giant bird could be deadly. Okay, so that was the lead. Basically, this giant bird flies back to the tower, and this is identifying this pathway through the unforgiving wall of height. So basically at this point, it is sort of a puzzle combat encounter whereby the players are pretty much going to have to be making stealth checks. This bird is on high alert. It's made this forest its home. It's protecting its young, and the players will have to stealth through. Now, they could just make a run for it and try and stealth right through it, but again, this bird is going to basically hit them pretty hard for anyone coming by just trying to sneak right past it. So this bird will be like rolling high perception checks, rolling high wisdom checks, just to make sure that it's on high alert. So knowing this, hopefully the players have connected that the bird is attracted to protecting its eggs though, and will leave to protect its eggs. So the idea being is that the players, if they feel like they can't just make that stealth run for it, because they should probably suffer a very hard fight if they do, can use the eggs to maybe distract the bird. So for example, the warrior might sacrifice himself. He's the strongest one. He might head up and, disturb the nest, which would attract the bird, swooping down. They'd be engaging in combat, and maybe his buddies are gonna then make a run for it and get through the wall. However, obviously, that's leaving the warrior in a very risky situation, but it is maybe a strategy. So basically, it's up to the players to sort of figure out how to maybe get by this and survive. Perhaps the players take an egg and throw it, or maybe they attach it to an animal and it runs off, and that distracts the bird away from them, giving them enough time to make a run for it. Or perhaps, with the wizard, a spell of some sort, even minor illusion or some sort of thing that might replicate the egg, and they do some sort of Indiana Jones, egg switch to distract the bird while they get away and allow them time to get past the wall. So, however the players do it, that basically is the entire encounter. They're going to get through here, fight the bird, defeat the bird, trick the bird, get through the wall, and that's going to lead them to Act 3, which is them finding the Sphinx Gate.
I thought they already went through the Sphinx Gate.
Well, no. There's a real Sphinx Gate beyond the Sphinx Gate, and we'll talk about that next time in Act 3. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. It was an interesting one to make up, and if you like this, please subscribe, leave comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time for the next episode as soon as we can get it up. So with that, thanks for watching, and remember, all D&D, all day long, all night till dawn.